Okay, so if you feel like you're constantly running on empty, then you're going to want to stick around for this. We're about to dig into the surprising reasons so many of us are just tired all the time. And believe me, the answer is probably a lot closer than you think.
Sound familiar? You did everything right. You got your 8 hours, you went to bed on time. So why on earth, when that alarm clock goes off, do you feel like you barely slept at all? What is actually going on here?
You know, we're so quick to blame our diet, or stress from work, or maybe just a lumpy mattress. But the real energy thief, the actual culprit, might just be that little device you're holding right before you shut your eyes. Yep, your phone.
To really get why this is happening, we need to talk about something pretty incredible that your brain does every single night while you're asleep. Think of it like a deep cleaning cycle, or as some scientists call it, a brain shower. Okay, so the official term for this brain shower is glymphatic drainage. It sounds complicated, but the idea is actually super simple. While you're in your deepest sleep, a special fluid literally washes through your brain, flushing out all the metabolic junk that built up during the day. It's like your brain has its own personal cleaning crew that only works the night shift. So here's how this amazing process works. First, and this is wild, your brain cells actually shrink a little bit to make room. Then, this cleaning fluid, called CSF, rushes in and just washes all the toxins away. When that cycle is complete, you wake up feeling sharp, refreshed, and ready to take on the day.
So that's the million-dollar question, right? What happens if that brain shower gets cut short, or maybe never even really gets started? Well, that is where our modern habits come into play. And frankly, the results are not pretty.
So check this out. A wellness expert asked her clients a super simple question. When do you put your phone away for the night? A staggering 95% of them said they use it right up until the moment they close their eyes. A lot of them even fall asleep with it still in their hand.
And this is exactly where things go wrong, for 3 main reasons. First off, the blue light from your screen is basically screaming at your brain, hey, sun's up, it's daytime, which stops you from getting into that deep sleep you need. Second, all the content you're scrolling through, the news, social media, work emails, it triggers your fight or flight system, keeping you on high alert when you should be in rest and digest mode. And finally, all that info just opens up a million different tabs in your brain, leaving it racing when it desperately needs to shut down and, take out the trash.
Okay, so that's the problem. How do we fix it? The good news is there's a super simple, really easy to remember formula that can totally change your sleep. It's called the 4-3-2-1 rule. Here's how it breaks down. 4 hours before you plan to sleep, no more caffeine. 3 hours before, finish up your last meal so your body isn't working overtime on digestion. 2 hours before, stop drinking water to avoid those middle-of-the-night wake-up calls. And listen, this last one is the real game changer. 1 full hour before bed, all screens go off. Put the phone away. Give your brain the clear signal that it's time to start the shutdown sequence. You see how that 4-3-2-1 rule is all about sending the right signals to your brain? Well, we can use that same idea for another thing that messes with our energy: eating. We always hear that advice to stop eating when you're 80% full, but what does that even feel like?
Seriously, think about it. It's probably the most common health advice out there, but who actually knows what that feels like in the moment? It takes our stomach about 15, maybe 20 minutes to tell our brain that we're full, and by then, let's be honest, we've usually gone way past the 80% mark.
All right, let's paint a picture. You're out for pizza. You've had 2 slices, they were amazing. And now you're eyeing that 3rd slice. You're not starving, but you could definitely eat more. This is the critical moment.
Right at that moment, before you reach for slice number 3, you've got to ask yourself this one weirdly simple question. If I eat this 3rd slice, would I also have room for a 4th? Just be honest with yourself. And if your brain immediately goes, whoa, no way, a 4th slice sounds awful, well, there's your answer. You don't need the 3rd one either. That's your signal. That's what 80% full feels like. It's just a brilliant little mind trick to get ahead of your body's own slow messaging system. And this whole idea of actually listening to your body, it brings us to a much bigger point. That eating hack works because it's totally personalized to you in that moment. And that same principle applies to everything we eat. There is no such thing as a perfect diet that works for everybody. Okay, take this example from India. What's healthier, roti, which is a flatbread, or rice? Well, the answer is, it totally depends on who you are and where your ancestors are from.
If you're from North India, your gut is probably adapted to wheat, so roti is fantastic. But if you're from South India, where rice and fermented foods are king, then rice is a better choice for you. It's all about your own biology.
And this same logic applies to all those superfoods we hear about. I mean, blueberries have the best PR team in the world, right? We hear all about how amazing they are. But how do they actually stack up against something a little less glamorous, something more common, like a guava?
I mean, just look at the actual numbers here. A serving of blueberries gives you about 10% of your daily vitamin C. Not bad. But a guava? It gives you a whopping 228%. That's not a little more. That is 20 times more. It just goes to show you, sometimes the most powerful stuff is hiding in plain sight.
So when you boil it all down, it comes back to this one powerful idea. The food you consume and the content you consume, that is you. Everything you put into your body and into your mind, those are the building blocks for your energy, your health, even your mood. So the real question to leave you with is, what are you choosing to consume?